Jack. Get ready, get jivin'.
Today should be an interesting show because I, in the words of Jason Derulo, am writing solo. That's right, folks. It is literally just jiving with Jack. Mano y mano. I have taken off my makeup. Now let's see if you can take off yours. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen and genders all across the spectrum, to episode 19 of Jivin' with Jack. It'll probably be a truncated episode, kind of like last week, because I am on my own. But we are going to go through some of the films that I am very interested from Cinemacon. Obviously, we didn't get to see many trailers, but there's a lot of promise. There's a lot of, intrigue. People are going back to the movie theaters. A lot of great movies coming out later this year, from Jurassic Park to Avatar 2, which I'm not going to lie to you, I have no interest in, even though I'm a Jim Cameron fan. I mean, I'd probably go see it, but I really was not blown away by that film the way everyone else was. Plus, there's a lot more stuff. Into the Spider-Verse, got a clip. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Can't wait to talk about that. Jurassic Park Dominion. These titles are getting too long. First it was Jurassic World, then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Dominion. Come on. Plus, we'll talk a little bit about Moon Knight, episode 5. I know a lot of you liked the episode. I thought it was interesting. I did fall asleep at the end. But that probably had to do more with me than anything else. But let me say hi to everyone here. There's Aaron. Hello, Jack, Austin, and Caden. Austin and Caden are not here today. Austin had a couple of emergencies, so he's taking care of that. Keep that in your thoughts and prayers. Here's Anthony Beltre. I see Andrew Casali. I see Tarun Prima. I see Marvel Mania. Jack is jiving hands solo. That's right. Yeah. Both hands, baby. You know what? Let's how have you guys been? I've had a kind of a long, strange day. I've been studying all day for something, and it has just been exhausting. But it's been a pretty slow week for me, but a very interesting week. So Cinemacon happened, and the stupid thing about Cinemacon is they don't show the trailers, which kind of bugs me. Like, why not show us the trailers? You're hyping other people up to hype us up. You can just hype us up and just show us Cinemacon. But that's Hollywood. They want you to think they're special. That's how they are. But let's talk about something that happened real quick earlier today. How many of you are gamers? How many of you are Call of Duty gamers? Because Infinity Ward, whose last game, Infinity Ward is one of the developers under Activision, their last game was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It was a bit of a reboot. They just confirmed today that the next game, I mean, we kind of knew, but it is 100% set in stone, will be Modern Warfare 2. It will not be a remake of the previous Modern Warfare 2. It's going to be in this new continuity. You might even call this a multiverse. But I'm a huge Modern Warfare fan. I love the original trilogy, and I had not been happy with Call of Duty for many years. I still buy them because I am a fan, and I find something to like about them. With Vanguard, I enjoyed the campaign. I didn't like Advanced Movements when they had the Future Warfare, but I like Black Ops 3 and 4 for what it's worth. But Modern Warfare 2 is going to be the Call of Duty this year. I am very excited about that. I thought the story in the last game was phenomenal. I thought the actors they had, in fact, a friend of ours, Chad Michael Collins, who was in Modern Warfare, it's not a remaster. It's the reboot, I guess you could call it. It was a reboot, a grounds up reboot. Yeah, I got a chance to interview him. He actually was pretty nice. He even sent out a shout-out message for my sister for her birthday, which is also my birthday, but we're not twins. My sister and I have the same birthday, but we're not twins. She just happened to be born on my birthday. But, okay, you know what? Let's since I have a lot of you Marvel fans here. Let's see where you guys want to go. I would like to talk briefly, Mr. Wayne. I'm good on May 3rd, Sam's Raimi. Yeah, you know what? So this here we go. See this Superman football jersey? I bought this 20 years ago as a kid. It was the week after Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out. And at that time, it was called Wizard World Convention. And it was actually pretty cool. You know, there was a lot of buzz about it. And back then, comic book conventions, I don't know how to say this, they were a little more cool. Now, of course, they're the big things. They have movie stars there. They have wrestling superstars there. There was something kind of cool when, like, the biggest name at a comic book convention was, like, Jim Lee. Jim Lee was there. Kevin Smith was there. Neil Gaiman was there. And there was something about it. Now, of course, you know, every major show, you know, is at these comic book conventions. They have celebrities there. But I feel like we've lost something when it was just about comic books. But I remember back then, one of the hottest ticket items in 2002 was the Spider-Man poster, and he's like looking up like from the side of a building, and you can see the Twin Towers in his eyes because 9/11 had literally just happened a few months earlier, and those posters were like big ticket items. I bought Amazing Spider-Man number 13, which was the 9/11 issue, which is now worth like $200 apparently. But I haven't been to comic book conventions in a while. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not really into cosplaying. Like when I go to a comic book convention, I dress the way I dress, which is jeans, a polo. That's peak Jack. But so yeah, well, RJ loves all Marvel stuff. But this episode, it was meant to be an episode where we're getting to the core of these characters. I felt like that should have happened earlier. Like we should have gotten more into this. What's this thing with Mark and Steven and all that? They should have done that earlier. I know they tried to do it in a creative way, in that kind of Martin Scorsese Shutter Island kind of way. Steven is dead, right? Like he jumped off the ship. Folks, this is Marvel. He's not dead. He's going to come back in the last episode. When everything is saved and everything's done, Mark's going to look in the mirror, and Steven's like, hey, I'm still here. That's my really bad English accent. But okay, so let's briefly talk about Moon Knight. And you guys, if you saw me on Tuesday, I am not a fan of Disney Plus Marvel. I think it's samey in its writing style. It's samey in the way the dialogue and the action happens. They are just like this. The first like 3 episodes of Moon Knight could have been done in one really good pilot. But of course, they got to stretch things out. And it feels like they're trying to present mystery to you, but it's like, yeah, we know where this is going. You know, I would like to have seen more Moon Knight and less, you know, the two guys bickering with each other and then fighting over Layla, who I could care even less about. And I care less about Layla than I do about her dad. Like, oh, he died. Okay. But this episode was interesting. It tried to do some kind of, how do I put it? Okay, so he's basically stuck between death and the netherworld, right? And he's on the ship controlled by the hippo lady. I'm familiar with Egyptology. I can't remember her name. It's like Tawdry or Tawdry. It's a good way to describe this episode. And they have to find balance by going back and reliving their moments. We learn, spoiler alert, that Steven was a psychological construct created by Mark to deal with the trauma in his life. And his mother was abusive. She used to beat him. She blamed him for the death of his brother. And so he created this English construct where he would go when his mother became abusive. But for some reason, the construct that is Steven doesn't remember it, even though he was the construct that was created to deal with that abuse. He doesn't remember the abuse. But Mark does. But Mark was the one who would go into that other. You'd think it'd be the other way around. You'd think that Mark wouldn't remember, but Steven would, and apparently Steven didn't know his mom's dead. So Mark is the original, the OG guy. That's what we learned. They're trying to find balance, the scales. It almost kind of reminds me of like the idea of purgatory. Like you're not in heaven or hell. You're kind of in this middle place where you still have to atone. But obviously he's going to come back. I mean, and I think Steven's going to come back. I think Steven's going to kind of function the way Peacemaker's dad kind of keeps showing up in Peacemaker's head after he kills him. Like he's going to be his, like, you know, little Jiminy Cricket, you know, on his shoulder. the show is carried by Oscar Isaac's performance. Am I impressed by it? No, I'm not impressed by it, but it is what it is. It's Disney Marvel. I think the finale will be a wet blanket. It's just going to be a big CGI fight. Spoiler alert: Moon Knight wins, and he's going to accept his path. Yeah, well, they were rare in 2002, so I'm talking about 20 years ago, and I got this baby right here. They were rare then because right after 9/11, they removed the Twin Towers from like everything. So like right after 9/11, episodes of Friends. So if you ever watch Friends, like before season 8, you'd always see the Twin Towers. Like when they do a transitional shot, they'd show Manhattan. After that, they were cutting it out. They cut it out like, Law and Order. Anytime they show the Twin Towers, they cut it out. So the posters of Spider-Man with the Twin Towers in them cut out. I mean, do you guys know about the infamous teaser trailer for Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man that aired for like 1 month? Have you guys ever seen that? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The teaser trailer is a bunch of bank robbers are robbing a bank, and you're like, oh, what's going on? All of a sudden, they fly out of a helicopter. They got the money. They're cheering, and all of a sudden, their helicopter stops midair, gets pulled back into a giant web. And what is the web between? The Twin Towers. This comes out a month before 9/11. That trailer got banned. You had to go to illegal websites to torrent it. Now, obviously, it's on like YouTube and stuff, but it is a very eerie trailer, especially the idea of a flight, something that flies in between buildings, kind of eerie. Darth Scipio, I forgot to say hi to you. Of course, you did Marvel Mania, but that's cool. Like, I don't want you to have to agree with me. In fact, I would prefer if you don't agree with me, because I don't think a lot of these nerd shows, this is my problem, it's just two people agreeing with each other. Like, Red Letter Media did a great example of this. They're like, I'm so excited for the new Star Wars. I haven't seen it yet, but I really loved it. And the other guy's like, yes, I loved it too. It was the happiest moment of my life. Like, I actually enjoyed talking to Marvel Mania on Tuesday. And I'm happy that you're happy. And RJ called it the most emotional thing he's ever experienced. That's RJ. Jack Pierre wasn't alive in 2002. So wait, you died and then you came back to life? I hope that, yeah, so I'm not too familiar with Moon Knight, but I hope that with season 2, they can tell a Moon Knight story where we can get rid of the whole origin thing. Like, he's Moon Knight. He transitions into this thing controlled by Khonshu. You know what messes me up? There's a place in China named Honshu. That's what messes me up. Yeah, the acting was great. I mean, Oscar Isaac's, even when I thought the dialogue was weak. See, Oscar Isaac is one of those types of actors that can take like mediocre dialogue and make it sound better. But I thought the back and forth between him, that can't be easy to do. Because as an actor, you play off the person you're against. Well, in reality, he's not talking to anyone. He's doing one side of it, which is Steven, and then he's got to do Mark. But they did it so well that you don't realize that, hey, these are not two different people. This is the same actor. And a lot of times in movies and television shows, when they have the same actor playing two different roles, it was really obvious when they use a stand-in and when, they do the over-the-shot shoulder, and it would look just terrible. But I got to admit that Oscar did it well. And, of course, the technology is at a place where, like, you just buy that these are two different men. And what a testament to what of an actor he is. It was rumored that Twin Towers was going to be in the movie, but they cut it out completely. Oh, is that interesting? That is interesting. Probably. I was always under the assumption that they filmed that specifically for the movie. Like, it was a teaser trailer they filmed for the movie, which was kind of cool. I mean, they don't really do that anymore. Like, teaser trailers don't have footage that's not in the movie. I think that's kind of cool. Like, you film, it's almost like a music video. Like, here's something that we're going to give you a taste of the film by having sampling what the film could be like. Terminator 2 had a pretty cool teaser, which was not in the movie, which is you see Arnold being built, the Terminator being built. Oh, man. In my opinion, Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker, than the other two. Okay, that's pretty. I mean, he was the Spider. I always hated how, like, okay, Spider-Man 3 was but then they automatically went to reboot mode. They should have just done Spider-Man 4 and 5 with Tobey. They could have fixed that. I don't know why they went to reboot. I don't know why. And look, I actually liked Andrew Garfield a lot. In fact, I saw him years ago, and then I watched Amazing Spider-Man 2 for the first time. I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I like him. I think I like him a lot more than I did. But Toby was a victim of the times. Back then, they would cast like 26-year-olds to play like 17-year-olds. And, now when you go back and watch Toby playing an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, but he goes to college, so it kind of worked out. Mark's brother is a villain in the comics. He was brought back to life by Honshu, and his avatar at one point he was Honshu. Oh, so this is okay. All right, but so what you're saying is, now I'm not familiar with the Moon on comics. What you're saying is that Steven might be turned into the brother character. In the comics, is Mark's brother's name Steven? Like his soul, now that it's trapped in another world, might become something else. That'd be interesting. If you like, here's the thing. I'm a fan of Egyptology, and everyone seems to like it except me and Austin, apparently. But everyone likes it. I would say give it a shot. I mean, I'd say it's easier to digest now that there are 5 episodes and it's almost over. Like, you don't have to wait all week for nothing to happen. It might flow better. And this is why I think Disney Plus shows most definitely need to be released at once. They won't do that because they want you to stay subscribed, but their shows are basically engineered so that you can watch them in one go. They're not engineered to be watched week by week. Like one of my favorite shows of all time, Twin Peaks, they released 18 episodes over 18 weeks. That was meant to be absorbed. Like, you watch an episode, you might go back, rewatch it, pick up what you missed. It's almost like studying, but you enjoy studying. That's a show that needs to be absorbed. Disney Plus Marvel shows do not need to be absorbed, but of course, first of all, they need to either do more than 6 episodes to tell a fuller story, or they need to make each episode longer. This whole anywhere between 30 to 50 minutes for each episode is just, it's already over just as the story gets interesting, because they're not writing the episodes with a 3-act structure. Like, something happens, something rises, something falls, next episode. It's like, we're going to rise into episode 4. So really, all the tension and the climax gets built into episode 4. Then you have episode 5, and now you're going to have a big CGI fight. You're probably going to have like parademons and Egyptians, and Anubis is probably going to show up, and they're all going to fight over the Great Pyramid of Giza, and something like that's probably going to happen, and Moon Knight's going to win, kind of, sort of, whatever. Anthony's not a big fan of Tobey's Spider-Man. What I've noticed is that, when something comes out, everyone loves. Like, right now, I see people shitting on Christopher Nolan's movies just because of the Robert Pattinson movie. It's like, you cannot, not you guys, but like, people can't hold 2 thoughts in their head. They can't understand why that trilogy was so freaking amazing. Austin said they haven't aged well. I disagree. But that's something else we're going to talk about. The Batman 2. Yeah, he wanted to do Spider-Man 4, but I guess it's funny because Spider-Man 3 still made money, but I think it was like kind of like BVS or Suicide Squad. It just left bad taste in audience's mouth, so they were like moving on. But I always thought they should have done a Spider-Man 4. They could have done so much more with that. I didn't think it was possible, but after jumping back into the multiverse, like Doctor Strange said, anything's possible. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if we got a Toby and Andrew kind of team up. Like, maybe they go across the multiverse. But right now, Tom Holland's we wouldn't see that on Disney Plus, and Sony doesn't have their own streaming service. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's the kid who died at the beginning. I kind of fell off, Randall Spector and Mark Spector. Okay. Ibrahim says, my main problem with Disney Marvel shows is that they finally get interesting, and it's in the last half of the show, and that is my problem. So usually you have a 3-act structure to any story. Yeah. But by the time Marvel gets to its 2nd act, it's already finishing. It seems to miss a 2nd act. It does 4 episodes building the story, 3 episodes, and the last 2 are the finale. Like, they introduced Kingpin and Hawkeye at the end of the 2nd to last episode, and then he shows up in the last episode, and they're totally counting on Daredevil fans being like, oh my God, it's Kingpin. But then Kingpin doesn't behave like Kingpin. He acts like an idiot. And they're like, they don't know how to write good television shows. They don't know how to structure their shows. I'm not saying they're bad, but like, one thing I will say about Loki, established Lady Loki as a villain pretty early on. That there was a Loki variant. We find out it's a female. And then we got to spend some time with her, and we got to realize that she's not just bad. She's just trying to live her life, blah blah blah, and then these two characters kind of bond. That was a show that you could tell they had some actual television writers kind of spacing it out. Yeah, I say parademons. Whatever. It's going to end with flying things fighting Moon Knight. That's where this is going. This is also how Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, there are going to be some flying things, just like there were flying things in Shang-Chi. There'll be thousands of them, and our hero has to beat them over the Great Pyramid of Egypt. Spider-Man, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I know that. That's what I just call it. They're going to be flying things. That's what the Chitauri. Fine, they'll be Chitauri. Like these things that are flying. And you're going to have Moon Knight, doing karate chops, Steven Seagal style. That's how it's going to end. We're going to film right away and didn't want to give him time. He needs to know the script. It said time. Well, hold on a second. Spider-Man 3 came out in 2007. The Amazing Spider-Man was 2012. So a couple year difference there. I know Sam did Drag Me to Hell, which is a very good movie. Very good movie. But that's the problem. You want to crank this stuff out and you don't want to give it time. But you know what? What if they had Tim Burton it? Like, all right, Sam, you produce it. We'll get another director to make Spider-Man 4. So now you don't have to do the origin story all over again. Now you can do Dr. Connors. You can do other characters. But in hindsight, I'm still happy we got the Andrew Garfield movies. If it leads to Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm fine with it. They wanted it in 2009. Yeah, no. Well, you know what's crazy? Spider-Man 2 was cranked out in 2 years. So Spider-Man came out in 2002. Within 2 years, they had Spider-Man 2, which is crazy that a sequel is that good, considering it was cranked out that quickly. But, that's crazy. Okay, all right, well. Now could be a good time. Hey, you know what? Do the multiverse stuff. Look, DC's doing it. We're gonna have three. We have three Batmans this year. We got Robert Pattinson. We're gonna have Ben Affleck. We're gonna have Michael Keaton. They should do it. Maybe I don't know if it'll be a Spider-Man 4 theatrical film. I would like a miniseries. A miniseries between Sony and Disney Plus. It would be cool. Do I think they'll do it? I don't know, but that'd be kind of cool. All right, you got Tom Holland in the movies. Let's say something happens between Andrew Garfield's world and Tobey's world. We can see Kirsten Dunst again. Do it while they're young. We don't want to see Tobey Maguire like gray hair and wrinkles, like trying to look young, a la Michael Keaton. That's why I like Pattinson. It feels like a moving comic, and it's true. Oh yeah, the Batman is definitely more accurate to the comics than the Nolan movies were. But I just think the Nolan movies had more scale to it, especially the second one. And there's a lot more. I still have to finish my rewatch of the Batman. I might be the biggest fan of the Raimi Spider-Man universe. I want Spider-Man 4. Hey, look, petition for it. Petition for it. We got the Snyder Cut, didn't we? We got the Snyder Cut. All right, guys, let's briefly talk about the Batman. The Batman 2. Could you imagine if that's what it's called, Batman 2, but with TOO, Batman 2, has been greenlit. Where do you want to see this Batman? Do you want to see him like a few years into his career? This is what I would like to see. I would like to see Batman be Batman. So this was kind of like a year or two. He's young and experienced. Chances are by the time the second film comes out, it'll be 3 years later, maybe 4 years later. And he's full on Batman. He's got the functioning cave, his suit. I need an upgrade on the suit. I need something that's a little more, polished. Something that looks like that he has kind of changed his costume based on his experience. All right, I'm Batman. I need this. I need this. You saw this in The Dark Knight, right? Batman's like, I need to do this. And Lucia's like, I'll do that for you. I need to see a little more of that. I would like to see bigger action sequences. I need to see more spectacle. I need a bigger chase scene. I would like to see more gadgets. So we got to see a little bit of Bruce's gadgets, right? They're very practical. It's like, what do I need right now? Well, after being Batman for about 3 or 4 years, he's going to have more gadgets because he's developing gadgets as he realizes he needs more tools at his disposal. I want the scale of the film to be much bigger. I know they're setting up the Joker, but a Joker and Riddler would be kind of cool. Or they could just do a Joker, Riddler, and Penguin. I mean, we'll see. I honestly could do without the Joker as a main villain for a while. I know a lot of people want to see it, but I would like to see the way he was kind of used in the deleted scene where, like, okay, this is someone who kind of watches everything and kind of is like a Hannibal Lecter to Batman's Clarice, like, I can give you some advice. I know everyone loved that Joker. To me, they keep doing the nasally voice. Ever since Heath Ledger, they all kind of talk like this. And it's like, get a new voice, man. Jared Leto did the same thing. This huge hunka hunka. I'm all over the place today. But what would you guys like to see out of the Batman Part 2? I would like to see a little more scale. Yeah, but like then they're still going to be doing the whole "I'm still learning how to do things" kind of thing. I already saw that. We've seen it. We've seen broody, mopey Bruce Wayne. I want to see Bruce Wayne that's like, world class. Puts on expensive suits and pretends to be, an entrepreneur. And then, at night he's like, I'm Batman. I need a new suit. Have you guys ever seen the suit from the Telltale series? I would like something like that where there's a little more armor. Actually, his suit did remind me, and I need to do something about the eyes. The Batman eyes are starting to bug me. I actually kind of like the idea of having him white eyes, but we'll see. I need to see him progress a little bit. And the Heart of Ice. Yeah, so a lot of you want to see Mr. Freeze. Do you think that could work in this world? Because they changed Edward Nygma's name in the comics. Now it's Edward Nashton, because they thought that Enigma sounded a little too on the nose. Do you think they changed his name from like Victor Fries to like Victor something else, and he calls himself Mr. Freeze? Sometimes when you do a comic book movie very seriously, you have to be careful with these names because the names can come off as kind of lame. What I like about Spider-Man 2 is they kind of lean into it like, a guy named Otto Octavius ends up with 8 limbs. What are the odds? And, that's how it happens. Matt Reeves' take on the Joker looks horrible. That did not look. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in love with it. I know a lot of people liked it just because it was the Joker. I couldn't understand a damn word he was saying. I was like, damn, can't you put subtitles on this? Like, no. Like, hey, I'm getting Bane vibes here. We couldn't understand a thing Bane was saying either. I would like to see Freeze as a villain and make it the most since after the flood. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I think someone suggested that what if like the flood caused Victor Freeze's accident? I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. I would love to see that. There's so many characters to play with. And look, they set up the Penguin. What if the Penguin's more of a main villain and he uses like Freeze and the Riddler, kind of like a pimp figure, like he's the guy who runs the underworld. I don't want to use the word kingpin, but I don't want him to become the kingpin, but something like that. It'll be technically year 3 after this film. Yeah, but I'm saying 3 years from this film, right? Like 3 years past this film. So if this is year 2 Batman, the next one needs to be year 5 Batman. At least I'd like to see him. He's got a groove. Gordon's commissioner. We're gonna see that again, something like that. Yeah, new costume, man. Yeah, well, No Man's Land is so freaking good. Have you guys heard Red Cataclysm in No Man's Land? It's one of my favorite Batman runs. Basically, an earthquake happens and destroys Gotham, and the U.S. government's like, well, good luck, Gotham. And basically it becomes like a post-apocalyptic hellhole. And Batman, there are gangs everywhere, and of course they rebuild Gotham in record time. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I would love that. I would love that. I wish they would do that in the video games, like if they had Gotham No Man's Land. And Gordon's angry because Batman abandoned Gotham, but actually he was Bruce Wayne trying to secure funding from Congress. But that'd be kind of cool. But I hope they up the scale in terms of the action. Because I think there was only, I guess, in terms of chase sequences, there was the one major chase sequence. And, there was a whole sequence in the stadium that was pretty cool. I would like to see some bigger. I would like to open with. I would like to see at least 2 major set pieces instead of just one major set piece. But that's what I would like. But yeah, no, Batman 2, and then to everyone who was saying that, oh, not you guys, but everyone online who was saying, oh, they haven't announced the Batman 2 yet because it's a failure. It's a box office failure. Look, the movie made a lot of money. I think it's around 760 million. It's got 2 shows connected to it, the Penguin series and the Gotham PD show. It's a success, and as word of mouth spreads, it's only going to become more and more popular. If this made 760 million, and there's no doubt that Batman 2 will probably touch $1 billion because number one, there won't be well, I hope there's not a pandemic. Number 2, it'll be in theaters probably for a while, probably for like 3 months or something. We'd hope. and you're not going to have this limited run. But still, considering it was only in theater for 45 days, which is like a month and a half barely, it did pretty well. And I got to give props to the Batman for how well it did coming out. You want more Catwoman? Yeah, definitely more Catwoman. I would love to see her. I would like her to find out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Maybe you can do a little something there. Like she discovers, like, wait, it's him, that mopey, smelly bastard. No Man's Land for the second film with Freeze, and The Court of Owls for a fifth and final film. Yeah, I would love more movies. I know they always say a trilogy, but like, there's too many stories to tell. What was kind of cool about Iron Man and Cap's arc is that they were able to tell it over 3 movies and 3-4 Avengers movies. So you basically have 7 movies with these characters. With Cap and Tony, where you could tell more. I think that's the whole 3-movie thing. They need to, because right now, like, Spider-Man feels like he's just become the Spider-Man like we know and love. Like, all right, he's in Manhattan, he's broke, everyone hates him. That's Spider-Man. Like, let's get into it. Zoe's come back for the sequel. I'm like, what's she gonna do? Is she doing anything else important right now? Of course she is. Batman 2 could be phenomenal. New crew facts. Yep. So that'd be kind of cool. All right. How have you guys kept up with Cinemacon? Because the one movie I am really excited for is Shazam. I don't know about you guys. I rewatched Shazam a couple of weeks ago while I took my dad to the hospital for surgery, and I rewatched Shazam on my computer, and I really love this movie. Now, I know what you're going to say, like, Jack, this is absolutely everything you hate about the Marvel movies. I said, yeah, but this movie is supposed to be lighthearted. Like, I don't want a heavy Shazam movie. I don't want, like, a dark Shazam movie. Shazam should be a little bit lighthearted. But amongst that lightheartedness, we have a lot of, scary moments. The villain was scary. The villain was good. Zachary Levi, I mean, he's so perfect in this. Oh, that's a terrible photo. I'm sorry. But he is just so freaking good at this. And I can't wait to see these guys, as a family working together. I'm just excited. We're going to talk about Halloween. Jack. That's next up. But I'm really excited for Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Again, I don't need it to be a dark movie, but maybe, the stakes can be a little bit higher. And look, the stakes were pretty cool in this movie, because you know what this movie did? Because the typical stakes would be like, okay, here's Shazam, or actually, as he's known, Captain Marvel, and he can't beat the villain. That's pretty typical. But his journey, Billy Batson's journey, is the fact that he lost his mother. And it turns out his mother abandoned him. I mean, to me, that's his heartbreaking scene. Like, when he finds, he's like, Mom, I found you. And he gives her the little compass. And she's like, what the hell is this? Like, she has zero connection to this kid. And she doesn't care. She really doesn't care. She's like, you did all right. I'm like, no, he didn't. And then he says, I got to go back to my family. To me, like, that's real emotional, storytelling right there. Because, obviously he's going to fight the hero and he's going to win. And basically, he's a coward, right? And Billy Batson kind of tries to avoid the fight, but now he has to face the fight to save his family. And the whole third act is great, with the Shazam family. I didn't think they were going to do the Shazam family so quickly, at least a transformation, and I just love that. I'm excited for this movie. My only worry is, I think this is a shot from, is this from Shazam 2 or Shazam 1? I think it's Shazam 1, but, like, those kids are going to be way older now. Like, the movie was made, what did it come out, 2019, Shazam? So they made it in 2018, right? Right? So that's 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 4 years. And for those little kids, like the little girl, the one who's like the sister, the Asian kid, these kids are going to be a lot older looking, because Astro Angel was like 17, 18 in the first movie. And like now he's like 22 and he's still playing, that was the one thing, like with a Shazam movie, kind of like Spider-Man, you kind of want to crank them out quicker while they're young. Because Tom Holland is like 26 and he's still playing a high school student. I mean, he was in high school or out of high school when he did Civil War, but now he's like 25. It's like, we need to get you out of high school, buddy. Shazam is a kid, so he needs to be like, exactly. And that's why I love it. Like, I'm fine with that. I like seeing the first Shazam movie. Levi's good casting with Black Adam. I'll be happy. Yeah, it'll be kind of cool. And Cavill's Superman. Come on, make it happen, Warner Brothers. Are these rumors? I was watching Ping Pong Flicks. I think he said they're talking about rebooting Superman. I'm like, for God's sakes, no. Henry Cavill is a star. Make Man of Steel 2 or whatever with Henry Cavill as Superman. If you want to make it more lighthearted, fine, go ahead. But you have a built-in Superman right there. And he's a bigger star. Like Brandon Routh, I get it, because Brandon Routh unfortunately did not become a bigger star. Henry Cavill has become a big star. Why would you not want him? We'll see. So excited. Definitely lighthearted. Absolutely lighthearted. It should be, and the comedy works for me because that's what I want from a Shazam movie. I don't want it to be dark and heavy. My only problem with Marvel is that when the story needs to be a little more intense, they always pull back. They always pull back because they don't want you to take it too seriously. What could be like a really genuinely good dramatic moment, especially in the third act, Marvel just loses it. But yeah, Shazam, I'm excited for. And guys, one of these days, The Rock, he got some award. I don't know. He got some award at the Cinemacon. He's been talking about this movie for years. Poor guy. You know, he turns 50 in like a few days, right? The Rock's birthday is like May 2nd or May 3rd. Hold on, let me see. The Rock's birthday. Yeah, May 2nd. I was a huge Rock fan growing up. All right, so check this out. The Rock is going to be turning 50 in a couple of days. And while he's in phenomenal shape and he's in better shape than you and I could ever achieve to be, once you hit 50, it's going to be hard to maintain that physique. There's no doubt he's on testosterone, but like if you want to do Shazam 2 and 3, or sorry, Black Adam Part 2 and 3, and you want him showing up in other DC movies, you know, I know it's hard to believe because he's in such phenomenal shape, but it's going to taper off. It's going to taper off. Look at Ben Affleck, how hard it is to maintain that physique in your late 40s. Hugh Jackman stopped doing Wolverine because like the dieting and the exercise, your body can only take so much. Why don't you try? You guys are all young. Try doing those exercises and try and do that dieting and see how much it kills you if you're in your 20s or 30s or a teenager. Imagine if you're 40 or 50. It's going to suck. But, you know, happy birthday to The Rock, man. I hope he would do that. Yeah, Man of Steel 2 would be great. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? But, like, yeah, I mean, when The Rock – so, wait, let's say 15 years ago, The Rock was 35. So that was a perfect time to do it. I'm glad it's still getting done. And I think that his star power has grown a lot. You know, 15 years ago, unfortunately, he wasn't really going anywhere. It was really the Fast and Furious that kind of revived his career. But I'm excited about that. Let's talk about Spider-Man into the Across the Spider-Verse. I was really kind of excited. It's ridiculous. It's really that ridiculous and shows how slow Warner Brothers is. If Marvel moves too quickly, Warner Brothers moves too slow. Okay, so we got the Across the Spider-Verse movie. I'm excited for this one. Some people have considered it the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time. I think that's a fair thing to say. It's kind of like to Batman with the Mask of the Phantasm. It's just phenomenal animated storytelling. I was never a Miles Morales fan. I remember when Miles Morales comics came out when I was a kid. I refused to buy them. I did not care. Like to me, it felt like race baiting. Like, oh, we're gonna change the race of the character or make him a new character. This movie made me a Miles Morales fan. The Spider-Man Miles Morales video game made me a Miles Morales fan, and I am kind of excited about this one. My question is, will this be better than the first one? Because that first one put such a high bar for Spider-Man. The question is, will a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 be better? I mean, it could be just as good or decent, but they need to stick the landing because that first movie, it wasn't that it was good, it's that no one knew what it was going to be like. And when they saw it, they're like, holy crap, this is a great movie. And I think there's so much story to tell in this one. But what do you guys think? Do you think they should, do you think it'll be better? Do you think Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will be better than Across the Multiverse? Or whatever the hell that first one was called. What was the first one called? Spider-Man Across the Multiverse, Into the Multiverse? Through the multiverse, around the multiverse, within the multiverse. Who knows? They had another It movie ready to go for. Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't see the second It, just because I knew that the adult story wasn't as interesting. I actually kind of liked the way they did the original one, the one that was made for TV, because they did it back and forth. So they did the adult story and then jumped back to the kid's story back and forth. So, like, the intense moments happen when they're kids, and then the finale leads into when they're adults, right? I thought that was way better balanced. Also, that one had Harry Stone, and it had the late great John. What the hell's his name from Three's Company? Come and knock on our door. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Three's Company. What the hell's his name? John Ritter. John Ritter was in the original one, and Seth Green, a very young Seth Green, was in the original It. But yeah, sometimes it blows my mind how slow Warner Brothers is about this stuff. But let's talk real quick about Halloween. This Halloween Kills really pissed off a lot of people. I am a Halloween fan, and in my lifetime, this was the first Halloween in theaters I saw that I genuinely enjoyed. I know it's not an intelligent film. It's just Michael Myers killing people and outsmarting people for like 95 minutes, but I liked it. All right. I'm someone who tolerates Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, the first movie Paul Rudd ever did. Halloween 6, baby. I'm fine with that. I thought that this movie was just balls to the wall, bloodbath action. I thought the sequences, the chase sequences, the fight scene with the freaking firefighters, I thought it was great. It gave me what I wanted, which is I want to see Michael Myers kill people and some people fight back. Is it a perfect movie? No, but it gave me, it scratched that itch. It was Halloween, and I'm like, that's great. You know, I have a Michael Myers mask right here. Mine's, it's a custom made the 1978 mask, the Captain Kirk mask. But I'm excited for it. I know. So yeah, the hospital stuff I could have done without. I could have preferred more of like a manhunt thing, you know, which again they did the manhunt in Halloween 4 as well. But I think I guess the hospital was a nod to Halloween 2, because in Halloween 2 is set in the hospital. It's even called Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. It was kind of a little bit of a nod. I heard rumors they tried to get Paul Rudd back. I think that would have been cool. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, Paul Rudd can't play that kind of intense. Yes, he can, and yes, he did when he played the character in Halloween 6. He played him kind of like dark, moody, maybe passive-aggressive, maybe. Paul Rudd can do that. You can see it. You can see it. But I'm excited for this. All right, so one movie that I'm really not that excited for, and I want to know what you guys think about this, because some of you might be too young to remember how big a deal Avatar was. But I remember when the first Avatar came out. Like, let me just go off the bat and say I've been a Jim Cameron fan all my life. Terminator 1 and 2 were like my favorite movies growing up. True Lies is, to me, the most underrated film that he's made. It might have been his last amazing film, because I think True Lies, anytime Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Cameron work together, they just create gold, because he brings out the best in Arnold. And I thought True Lies was great. But then he did Titanic, right? Titanic, phenomenal film, won 11 Oscars. It was a cultural event. 12 years later, Avatar comes out. And again, it was more about the technology, because I thought the story was incredibly lackluster. I mean, James Cameron knows how to write a good effing story. He did Aliens. He did T1, T2. He did True Lies. You know, he did The Abyss. And he took the Titanic and made this beautiful love story out of it. And then the story for this, the first Avatar, I thought was so like, I know everyone says always like Dances with Wolves or Fern Gully. Yeah, it was, but there was nothing interesting about it. Like, James Cameron movies are usually quotable. Think of how many quotes you know from The Terminator, how many quotes you know from Titanic. Like, what are some quotes from this damn movie? Not this one, but like, you know, I kind of shudder to think if he hadn't been making Avatar for 20 years, what good movies did we miss out on? You know, what movies could he have made that we've missed out on? But I appreciate his love for inventing technology, and I do think that this will at worst be decent. But I don't know if I'm that excited about it. What do you guys think? Paul is busy with Ghostbusters. I can't. So you can't wait. Okay, so Aaron's excited. I'm excited for Avatar. I haven't seen the first one since I was 5. But see, isn't that say something though? Like, I saw the first Avatar. I saw Avatar in theaters, and I never saw it again. It was like Valentine's Day 2010. We saw it in IMAX, and the ride was enjoyable. But like, at no point was I like, I can't wait to see that again. I was like, all right, that was an experience. That was cool. And I was kind of done with it. But what do you like? I don't even know what the story's going to be. So here's the thing: if the first story a lot of people thought was a little too, a little too similar to stories you've seen already, you know, like Dances with Wolves, Fern Gully, The Last Samurai has a similar type of story. Where does this story go? I mean, I haven't really looked into spoilers. I haven't looked at anything. But I'll probably do a rewatch closer. I wonder if that movie's in 4K. Huh. James should let me do a Terminator movie. Yeah, well, they need to let the Terminator die. That franchise peaked 31 years ago. They should never have made Terminator 3 or any of that stuff. Yeah, I think they actually filmed it underwater. Isn't that crazy? And again, that's respect. I think whatever it is, it will at least be a technological marvel at worst. And I think the story will at least be decent. I think the story will be decent. Decent. At best, it could be phenomenal. But do you think it's too late now? I mean, we're talking 2009. It came out 2009, 2010 because it was like December 2009. So let's make it 2010. It's been 12 years. It's been 12 freaking years. I mean, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, there was a 7-year difference, but the Terminator only got more and more popular and the hype got more popular. But remember, back then, blockbusters were not like every 2 weeks. And this is going up against Marvel and DC. Well, let's just say Marvel. Do you think this is going to make $2 billion, or maybe it makes $1 billion and that's it? Yeah, 13 years. Yeah. I mean, I give it the extra year just because it came out late 2009. It was in the theaters till 2010. Anthony, you think it'll be a masterpiece? Okay, look, I love James Cameron, and I love. I think he's a visionary. A lot of people say, "Oh, he's full of himself." I'm like, well, when you've made Aliens and Terminator 1 and 2 and Titanic and Avatar, you made the biggest movies of all time twice. You'd be a little cocky too. I just don't know if this movie has the legs that everyone thinks it might, but we'll see. We'll see. I want it to be good. Of course, I'll make $1 billion, but will it make two? That one, I think it beat Avengers Endgame. They re-released it, I think, Avatar, in limited theaters, and then it beat Endgame again. And remind you, tickets were cheaper when Avatar came out. So, like, chances are it probably outsold more tickets than Endgame. But still, we'll see. Yeah, I'll definitely make $1 billion, hands down. But if it only made $1 billion, like 1.1 billion, well, he's spending, and he's still making 3, 4, 5. I think he's making. Whew. And how old is James Cameron? I mean, he's got to be in his 60s at this point. James Cameron. He's the greatest. Oh, he's 67. Shoot. So he made Terminator when he was 30. Yeah. Wow, 74, 84. Yeah, he was 29, 30 when he did the first Terminator. Now he's 67. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, granted, 67 is young these days, but like it is a lot of energy for a director. Yeah, they put the first one, they released it, and I think that's back. It was kind of cool to have Avengers be number one. Maybe they'll re-release Avengers at some point, but that'd be kind of cool. Okay. One more movie. Oh, no, we got 2 more. I'm like kind of mixed bag excited for Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World. What is it? 6? Jurassic Park 6 Dominion. And you can tell they're running out of steam because they kind of did the whole, what if the T-Rex was on like, in America or something? And, they did that at the end of The Lost World, which I think is not as bad as a sequel as everyone thinks. But, they're kind of running out of ideas at this point. So the T-Rex shows up, at a movie theater, and they're like, oh my God, nothing like this has ever happened before, except the one time it happened 20 years ago, and Jeff Goldblum had to save the day. But, a lot of people mistake Jurassic Park as a monster movie. And yeah, there were aspects of the monster movie in there, but it was just such a better written movie. But I don't know. I thought the Fallen Kingdom, they were running out of the idea. They were doing something about clones and cloned children, and the daughter was a clone of a guy whose daughter died. I was like, what are we doing here? What is this story? Anyway, I think the fact that they're pulling in, the original cast back, because they did it with the second one, right? They kept showing Jeff Goldblum in the trailer, and it turns out he has a monologue at the beginning, at the end. That was it. You could tell they made Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and they're like, we need Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, we'll put him in the teasers. Here, Jeff, we'll need you for 2 days of shooting. We'll do one here, boom. Put Jeff Goldblum in the trailer. Everyone's like, oh my God, Jeff Goldblum's going to be in it. And, they're bringing back Laura Dern and Sam Neill. Let's hope they have a bigger role or a better role. But, yeah, Doctor. But then again, I said that I was a kid when Jurassic Park 3 came out. I was like, it'd be kind of cool. But you know what? At this point, you just want to see dinosaur fights. I hope the T-Rex, kind of gets reestablished as the alpha predator. I know they have all these others, the Spinosaurus Rex and the Indomitable Rex, and I know there are other dinosaurs out there, but the T-Rex is so central to Jurassic Park, just to the logo. Look at that logo. That's a perfect logo. Why don't we get that? But that's a big movie I'm looking forward to. And one last movie that I'm looking forward to. And bear with me 1 second. Back when I was on the old network, I used to do a segment called Tinfoil Talk, where we would talk about UFOs. Jordan Peele, I'm gonna take these off. Ooh, there we go. Jordan Peele is making a UFO movie. Now, I was one of those people who grew up who never, ever, ever gave a crap about UFOs. I didn't think aliens were real. I think that's all BS. I think it's just the people being stupid. They see something you can't explain. They're like, oh my God, it's aliens. Last couple of years, I've changed my mind. On the possibility of life out there. And the fact that the U.S. government is now admitting it, which is kind of spooky, makes me think like, all right, maybe we're not alone. Wait, so if we're not alone, are all those abduction stories true? Betty and Barney Hill, the Phoenix Lights, and all of a sudden I just threw myself into ufology. I'm actually planning on going to a UFO convention, my very first one. Kind of curious, but Jordan Peele is an interesting director. Now, I'm not that crazy about that movie, Get Out. I know a lot of people love it. God bless you. I thought the other one he did, This Is Us, or it's just called Us. Well, it didn't make any sense. I thought that was a creepy movie. And I'm curious to see what he can do with a UFO, what he can do with ufology, what can he do with flying saucers. Oh, by the way, if you guys are wondering, this is Caden. Caden is an extra in the movie Nope. That's Caden right there. That's what Caden looks like. Aren't you glad you never have to see his face? Oh, Caden. But yeah, I'm kind of curious. Are you guys interested in the Nope movie? I don't know. Yeah, I think that's interesting, Aaron. You mentioned that. Jurassic Park Dominion, I think, will be better than Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom, you could tell they were like, what do we do with the story? Where do we take it? I guess they're auctioning off dinosaurs. It reminded me too much of The Lost World. Like, hey, we bring dinosaurs to Earth or to mainland, to the United States or wherever they are. And they're like, let's auction them off. I mean, that's kind of what, Hammond's like grandson or nephew or whatever the hell he was trying to do in The Lost World. I like The Lost World a lot. I know a lot of people, it's still Spielberg. There's still some technically great scenes in that. The whole sequence with the trailers and the two T-Rexes, come on. Now they just CGI'd and it looks blurry. Bryce Dallas. I think it could be. I think it'll be better. I can confirm that that's what Caden looks like. Caden looks like that. So no interest in the UFO movie, huh? We tried to do tinfoil talk on, and Ty would, talk about like, all right, the U.S. government is now releasing footage. I think we're being visited. And like, whereas like 10 years ago, I'd be like, come on, man, you're just stupid. That's just like a fighter jet you can't recognize. Now it's like, the aliens are coming, folks. The aliens are coming. And that's all. Anyway, that's essentially, now here's the thing. We've done about an hour. If Austin were here, we'd probably go another hour and a half. But did you guys see anything at Cinemacon that you thought was interesting? Is there anything you guys saw and you're like, that's what I want? That's what I want. Or do you guys want to talk about Ezra Miller? Do you guys want to talk about Ezra Miller? I don't know what's going to happen with that. I really don't know what's going to happen with that. But it sucks if you're trying to restore the Snyderverse like I am, and many of us are. But the CinemaCon stuff, it's kind of starting to feel like normal again. Like, okay, movies are coming out again, and they're not going to be on HBO Max or whatever. They're going to be in theaters. Modern Warfare 2, yeah, I started off with that. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2. I'm going to do a reaction trailer for Modern Warfare 2. Whenever that drops, I've asked Enosh's permission. I'm going to be sitting here and I'm going to do those fake orgasms that everyone's like, I'll give you a little performance. But I'm going to talk to Chad Michael Collins and have him maybe come back on between now and the release of Modern Warfare 2. I got my night vision goggles from the last Modern Warfare. The problem is I have a very large head. They don't fit even if they do. What he do now, but who do? but who do the voodoo that you do? But yeah, that's interesting. Modern Warfare 2, I'm excited. I know Enosh just talked about possibly doing a gaming channel. The only thing with a gaming show on the Point Extra Lounge, the thing was if you want to be doing a gaming show, you need a lot of time because you need to play games, review them, and edit videos. You know, if you have like a full-time job, that's damn near impossible to do. Like guys, I think like Angry Joe, who I love Angry Joe, or those professional ones, they get paid for it. You know, so like they get advanced copies of games. You know, Yong Ye gets advanced copies of games. So no one's sending me an advanced copy of anything. I got to pay for my PlayStation 5. But that's it. Ezra. Now it's just I was like, you guys want to talk about Ezra anyway? You know, we talked about Johnny Depp to death, and I need a break from Johnny Depp. But Ezra, oh, you know what happened a couple of weeks ago, or was it 2 weeks ago? Last week, he's causing problems. Amber Heard is now causing problems. I just don't know. I feel bad for Zach if they legitimately decide to do Snyder Cut Part 2, and he can't use these actors because they're causing too many problems. You know. But you know what? I'm going to wrap it up. Are there any last topics you guys want to talk about? I know it's a little bit shorter show, but it's because I don't have a co-host today, so I'm doing it by myself. And, you know, 1 hour of just Jack. That's a lot of Jack. That's gold, Jack. I mean, this is what Jack should be. It just should be me and you. I don't have to have a co-host. But there you go. Breaking news, Captain Carter was in a... Oh, was she now? I believe it or not, I've tried to avoid many spoilers about... You know what? That's coming out next week, isn't it? Next week. Doctor Strange 2. You know, maybe next week we'll talk a lot about what Doctor Strange 2 could possibly be. I'm curious to see how it'll do up against Spider-Man. Obviously, Spider-Man's a bigger character, but I want to see how Doctor Strange is, because the first Doctor Strange made money, but it wasn't like it wasn't like Guardians of the Galaxy big in terms of the money it made. It was, you know, it did you know. But I always thought that Doctor Strange is an underrated film. I liked it a lot. It's probably one of the solo films from Phase 2. Or is it Phase 3? It's after Civil War, right? So that's Phase 3. That I genuinely like. I thought it was a great art. I remember people said, oh, it's too similar to Iron Man now. I think that Doctor Strange is a great story. I can be co-host. No joke. I got time. No, I'm pretty much done for now. Like I'm zapped out. I would be down to co-host on a day. I don't have a mic yet, though. Well, you don't need one. But you know what? Why don't you, Watcher and the new crew, why don't you guys DM me? Follow me on Twitter, Jivin with Jack, and let me know. So, like, if Austin can't make it, you know, Austin had a bit of family emergency, which happens, and Caden's working. Yeah. You guys are totally able to co-host, but we have to cover all the topics. So if we're talking about Nicki Minaj feuding with Cardi B, you're going to have to do your research. You have to look at pictures of them and their ass and everything. But yeah. Message me right now on Twitter. And so that next time what I can do is I can send you a link directly to you, and then you can just jump on. Oh yeah. They are. It'll be interesting. Quantic Dreams, I love the Quantic Dream games. I liked Heavy Rain. Beyond Two Souls was the only one that was a little bit choppy, but the one they did called Detroit Become Human, phenomenal. Everyone craps on David Cage for whatever reason, but yeah, if they're making a Star Wars game, that's probably going to be good. I got to get my Twitter unsuspended. Oh, geez. Well, maybe Elon could do it. I've heard a lot of people saying their followers are coming back because they're not shadow banning people. Oh, did they? Did they do that? Huh. I don't know. Maybe they have talked something out with Henry in the back. Maybe they are talking to Henry like, hey, Henry, would you like to come back? Remember there were rumors like a year ago that Henry did a deal where they're going to do like a bunch of cameos. And then there were rumors they did a deal for 2 more movies, you know, 2 more Man of Steel movies and a Zack Snyder film. But those are all just rumors. They all come from like Mikey Sutton and stuff, which again, you know, sometimes scoopers can be right or wrong. That's the thing with scoopers. They give you information that they've heard. May or may not be true. Just find me on Facebook. You got my name right there, Jack Sheriff. Just find me on Facebook and just message me, and we can do it like that. But so Caden, I think, is working full time. Austin is working full time. I'm going to start working full time too, And then what will you guys do without me? You're going to have to watch Sci-Fi Center. Guys, check out the Sci-Fi Center on Fridays. Thursdays, we have Jivin with Jack. Wednesday, I think Austin, every couple Wednesdays, Austin does The Greatest People I've Ever Met. Hey, Aaron's going to watch is everyone going to watch the NFL draft today? Yeah, baseball already happened. The Phillies won 4 in a row. Woo! Look at Aaron. Aaron, is American football popular in Australia? I'm curious. Like, I always thought that, like, American football is, like, just one of those weird things that only we like. Because, like, even something like baseball is popular in, like, Southeast Asia, Japan, Korea. They love baseball over there. But, yeah, the NFL draft. I wasn't planning on watching it. But the only football I watch is I'm an Eagles. I'm from Philly, so that's the only football I watch. I'm sad to say that as an American, I'm terrible when it comes to football. But like I'm watching the NBA too because the Sixers are in the playoffs. But I'm curious, like, are those Americans? Because I know, like, back in the day when I was a kid, Michael Jordan was hot. Like everyone watched Michael Jordan all over the world. Like he was just one of those stars that was just so popular. And I'm curious, like, how popular American football is getting overseas. Like, do people like it? So yeah. Hey, see, read and hear, or is it see, read and heard? We don't know. But see, read, hear. Good to see you guys. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. We did a kind of a slower show today. Yeah, there are quite a bit of fans here in Australia. My brother and I are like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool that you guys like watch that stuff. Because sometimes as Americans, we're a little bit self-involved. We only pretend like our sports. Like, I am ashamed how little I know about soccer. I know it's called football in Europe, but, like, I know Messi, and, like, that's it. But, like, these are major stars that, like, here in the U.S., we're just, like, we're just too involved in our own heads. You know what it is? We have too many people, and we're too big. So we tend to – everything's, around here. Baseball used to have the World Series because it was supposed to be baseball teams from around the world, but the only other country we play are Canada. But is that a heavy metal sign or a live long? Oh, it's a heavy metal sign. Let's do that. But yeah, guys, I know it was a short show today. I am Austinless and Watcher, and who's the other guy? The New Crew. Find me on Facebook, Jack Sheriff, and message me to say, hey, you ever need a co-host? Let me know. And there are times where Austin needs a co-host because I can't do it. So just keep your eyes peeled. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Austin's got his show. We got Brian Master and Nunn. He's got his show. Even if you don't like Star Trek, just give it a like, give it a share. Let other people know. You never know. Some of your friends on Twitter or Facebook, they might be Star Trek fans. Like, oh, it's a Star Trek show about food. Yeah, you'll find me, Jack Sheriff, Sharaf. You can find me on Facebook. It's a picture of me back when I could still spike my hair. I can't spike my hair, unfortunately, anymore. You could do it like this. It might be kind of awkward, and just make sure you're near Wi-Fi because it uses a lot of internet. Yeah, you can do it on that. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, totally. It'll look weird, but it doesn't matter, Movie Dog says hi. Hey, Movie Dog. All right, guys. Remember, I got to find the outro button. Usually Caden does this, but I'm doing this on myself today. Jivin with Jack. It's not a brand. It's a lifestyle. Whatever that means.
Get Jivin.